It is time to replace my ghetto breather setup. So I have a different setup. You can see that is my ghetto rigged setup I've got going on right now. So there's a PCV valve there. There's another one on that cylinder head there, and then it goes to that awesome little filter that I've got a bunch of holes drilled in. So I'm going to replace this garbage. Honestly, it is garbage. It doesn't breathe enough, so I'm going to replace that with some real parts.
So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the valve covers so that I can actually get the bulkhead fittings onto the valve covers. And while I was doing this, I realized that I had a coolant leak issue, and I've got another video about that, but I found out that I was leaking coolant into my timing chain cover, and when I removed the valve covers here, it was pretty evident I'd been getting some of that milky stuff up into the valve cover. So I do a kind of a flush procedure here, but you'll see I'll actually put a little clip of how the oil came out because it's pretty nasty. So after I realized I put the breather or the bulkhead fitting in the wrong spot on the driver's side valve cover, I decided that it would work perfect for the passenger side, so I had to start taking the passenger side stuff apart so I could swap them, and then drill the hole for the breather on the driver's side in the correct spot.
So previously, this is the ghetto rig setup I had. So I had a couple of PCV valves, and then I went to this little breather thing and I drilled some holes in the top, but it just wasn't flowing enough air that it was venting to atmosphere. So now I'm in an emissions state and I can't vent it to atmosphere. So the oil catch can setup that I've got has another, it's got another bung on top that will go to the intake. That way all of the gas goes back into the intake. So yeah, that was my $10 ghetto rig setup just for convenience, but yeah. So this is going to just be capped with a plug. I've got a couple of them. I got one in the other valve cover, and then I'll throw another one in here. But this one, I've got a lot of stuff in the way, so this is on the driver's side, and I've got the air conditioning line that goes kind of right along this path here, right up front. So I can't use there where I wanted to. So I'm gonna have to scoot down a hair, and I'll probably end up going right kind of in this area right here, which is, you can see the valve cover. So it'll be right kind of here in that area. So I'll make my hole there, and then I'll put my bung on there. So I was going to go with the weld-on ones, but yeah, I don't have a TIG welder, and I really don't feel like taking it somewhere because my work hours. So basically, I'm just going to use the bulkhead connector, and it's got 2 nylon bushings that sandwich in between the valve cover. And then I'm going to put some thread locker on the inside so that the nut doesn't back off. So we'll call it good with that. Well, I forgot to start the video. You can see that I got the driver's side on already. And here's the passenger side. That's how it ended up. Turned out pretty good. Cleaned it up a little bit. This will go back on. And then I'll be able to mount my my catch can down here. We'll go kind of right in this open space, and then route my lines to it and get all that stuff set up. Here is the finished product. So this is a baffled oil catch can, and this is on an emissions setup. I haven't taken my car to test emissions yet, but here's what we got. So we've got 2 inlets on top. This is kind of the only way I can mount the tank, so I'll probably have to empty it more often than you normally would, because normally you'd put the drain on the bottom. At some point I'm going to fab up some mounts that will turn it up, but for right now this will get me by. So I've got my 2 inlets, so both of those right there come from each valve cover. And then on this side, that's the outlet that goes back to the intake ahead of the supercharger. So we'll follow this through. You can see I've got one line right there. So that one comes from the valve cover. That one goes along the back side there to the catch can. Then I've got the other one right here. That one comes out from the top of the other valve cover. I'm still missing my plug there. I'll have to grab another one. And that goes back to the oil catch can here. And then this one, you can see it routes up here and into the intake. Now if you have a boosted application, you have to put it ahead of, so on your air intake, so this is the fresh air coming in, you have to put it before your turbo or supercharger. If you put it on the outlet, so if I put it over here, I would actually have boost pressure that would go into that, and it would defeat the whole purpose of the catch can. So you have to make sure that this is on the inlet of the supercharger or the turbo if you've got a boosted application. Otherwise you'll run into more problems than you have now already. So there we go. This can was actually pretty cheap. This one was on Amazon for 50 bucks, and it'll do a great job. The quality's really good. I mean, it comes with a lot of fittings, and it comes with a fitting, or not a fitting, but a filter for that side. So if you don't have to do emissions, then you can just put a filter on the outlet there and let it vent to atmosphere. But unfortunately, that's not how my application is. There we go. One step closer to testing for emissions. So that portion of it is done. Just got to get my oil-filled cap there for that side, and I'll be able to start it up and see if my issue with pushing oil out my seals is gone. So good deal. One less thing to do. I just want to say thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up or a like, or if you think I could do better, throw a comment down below. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, thanks to Native Energy Solutions for their generous donation of my whiteboard that I didn't get to use in this video. Thanks, guys.